Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's Mr. C. This is kind of like my reaction video to your discussion responses, which I thought were fantastic. Um, thought question was Easter Island, sorry, which is a World Heritage Site. Okay, and so a World Heritage Site is just some place that is important for any citizen of the world. Doesn't make a difference what country a person came from; they can enjoy it, and there's a historical um, context for it, or it's just a really cool spot. And the ones that you guys researched and came up with, I just think you're fantastic. All right. Um, I've been really enjoying these discussions because the thought questions are generally all the same for you. So when I read them, they're pretty similar. This gives you the room to do what you want and to research something cool that you're interested in. Stonehenge, one of my favorite things. Very mysterious place. Wiltshire, England. These are the stones that kind of look like, it's two stones like this and then one stone on the top. Um, some people think it's some sort of calendar, and on the equinoxes, the sun shines through the spaces in the stones in a very specific way. So, Liam, you might want to take a look at that. Grand Canyon National Park. Excuse me. I've been there before. Really cool spot. I recommend going. It's a very 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 common place to visit. Um, Caused by erosion, not very common. There's nothing like it in the world. This is millions of years of erosion. Statue of Liberty, uh, again, been there before. It's in New York Harbor. The thing that I always like to think of with the Statue of Liberty is that it's green now because it's copper. And when the French originally gave it to the Americans to celebrate the first 100 years as a nation, um, it probably looked like a shiny, copper penny. So imagine that shining in the sun. I think that would be an amazing sight. Everglades National Park. This is similar to the Easter Island Heads, where it's a wetlands, but there are some problems with it. Excuse me. um, One of the issues is that there are some endangered species there, and one odd problem that the Everglades is currently having is it has an invasive species. People had these like giant exotic snakes as pets, and they let them out in the Everglades when they got too big, and so these like boas and huge snakes are now wreaking havoc on the ecosystem of the Everglades because they weren't supposed to be there in the first place. And that's pretty similar to what you guys were talking about last week with the thought question of bringing extinct animals back. Should you or shouldn't you? Um, because it would wreak havoc on an ecosystem. So that's kind of what's happening in the Everglades right now. Great Barrier Reef is another one. Unfortunately, what the Great Barrier Reef looked like when I was in sixth grade and what it looks like now is much, much different. The coral has been bleached because of global climate change and the seawater warming and becoming more acidic. Acropolis at Athens, we talked about this a lot in social studies class. Um, this is another one that's similar to the Easter Island Heads, where there is so much traffic there from visitors and from tourists that it could be eroded just by foot traffic. Some kids have brought in pictures of the Acropolis that like their parents visited back in the 80s, and people are walking all over it and walking inside it, and there's no rules. Now you can only walk in certain spots. So the Greek government has realized that they can make a lot of money off of this site, and so therefore need to protect it. And so you guys all mentioned that in one way or another, like these sites can bring in a lot of money for the government. Olympic National Park. I've never heard of before. I've never been to the Pacific Northwest out in Washington, but I'm sure that it's beautiful. I have a couple friends that live on out there on Bainbridge Island. Um, so basically, this is a park that is trees are being cut down. There are wildfires, and so it's a national park. Cool pick, Jaden. I've never heard of it before, but I'm sure it's fantastic and beautiful. Um, if people continue to destroy the earth with pollution, we can't have that anymore. That's not just true for Olympic Park, but for literally any natural wonder. So good point on that one. And right, Yellowstone, another one. He lists the amount of species of birds and animals. I've never been out here. In fact, I bought a bunch of travel guides from my parents because they were supposed to be at Yellowstone uh, right around now, and now they can't go. So it's kind of a shame. Pearl Harbor. This is not a natural World Heritage Site, but a site of a historic event. And so this is a little bit different than Yellowstone or Olympic National Park or the Great Barrier Reef, is that it didn't occur naturally, but it is a site of historical significance. So nice job on that one. Another Statue of Liberty, which I totally agree with, symbol of freedom and hope. Tower of London is fantastic. I think this is the one where Big Ben the clock. It probably is. Yeah, and so Paige mentions like brings in a lot of money. It's a tourist attraction, so that's really nice. Giant crystals of Nacia. I think that's how you say it. I never knew about this at all, and if you guys could just follow me here, these are really cool. I googled this morning when I was looking at it. So these are in a cave. If you look at the person right there, these crystals are gigantic. So I had no idea this even existed. So Emma, as always, looking at something outside the box, it's fantastic. I like her last line here. The cave that these crystals grow in had a large quantity of mineral-rich water at a constant temperature of 136 degrees Fahrenheit for 500,000 years, which helped the crystals grow their height today. So only 136 degrees and only for 500,000 years helped these crystals form. Super cool spot. Machu Picchu are the pyramids in Peru. And these are leftovers from the Incan Empire. You can still go visit these today. I had a friend, my friend Brian. Him and his wife went to Machu Picchu a few years ago, and the pictures there are nothing less than stunning. It's not easy to get to, but once you're there, it's certainly worth it. So we have places all over the world. So Peru and Mexico, in Europe, in New York, Hawaii. We have Yellowstone in Wyoming, Washington, Greece, Australia, Florida, and another one in England. So these are World Heritage Sites. So you guys did a fantastic job of finding places all over the world. It doesn't make a difference where anybody came from. It could be important to them. You could take someone from England and they would see the value in going and visiting Pearl Harbor. You could take someone from Australia and put them at Stonehenge, and they'll really see the value of that. So fantastic job with these. I really enjoyed reading them. It's Friday morning, so if you guys still have stuff to do for Crew Car or Roth or I, get it done. Have a relaxing weekend. It's supposed to be really nice tomorrow, so get outside in a safe way. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for continuing to work. Take care of yourselves.